So therefore, because of that, we have to die on this side and come back reborn again in the perfect image of Yahweh Shai, the right hand side. So it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay, and what's the advantage ultimately? The advantage that Satan wants to get over the hopeful elect ultimately is you selling your birthright. He wants to get you to sell your birthright, right, by taking the chip. Just like how we got him to sell, our forefather Jacob got him to sell his birthright. Because that's what these top wicked elites, right, of the nation of Edom want back is their birthright. Okay, and the NWO via the chip and this transition of or this thing of transhumanism, right,
Mhm.
merging man with machine, is a part of him trying to fight back for his birthright, which is being perfect. That was a birthright. That came a part of the birthright is to be perfect. So he's doing he's using his left hand side means to do that. But that's the ultimate advantage that Satan wants over. All right, the elect in particular. It's for you to sell your birthright. So for that to not happen, ultimately you have to be of the whole full elect. We know that. But it says that you also cannot be ignorant of his devices. Now, this word device, okay, I like to tie that more so towards his technology because when you get into the word, okay, technology and his tactics, right, the things he uses to deceive, right, to conquer. So in the Greek,
Strong's G 3540. Naima. Naima.
okay, and when you go into it, look at what it says. It says, "Hey, by the way, Shabbat Shalom. You can hear it. You can hear me now."
Clear. Yeah. Shabbat
God,
Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Yahweh Shem Shabbat. Yeah. So in this word here, when you look at it, it says a mental perception, a
Mhm.
thought. Okay, key, an evil purpose. Okay, that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purpose. So ultimately, you're looking at the intentions, the MO, the motive of this devil, who the Bible calls the wicked, of this Edomite, who the Bible calls the wicked, so-called white man, because that's who's in rulership. Okay, whether you like to believe that or not, that's who's in rulership. So when it comes to Satan and his physical counterpart on earth, you're looking at more so his MO, their intentions by everything that they do, because everything's a psyop when you look at it to a certain extent. It's a psychological operation on the minds of the people. All right, whether it's coming through Esau Edom or coming through Esau Edom, right, which is the left hand of the Most High, or the Most High is doing it through the right hand. All right, you have psyops on the right hand as well. We're a psyop if we go into it. The prophets of Yahweh Shema Shai. We're also a psychological operation in a sense, okay? Because what we're saying is prophecy, and once it comes to pass, then you're going to know that that as the scriptures say, that prophets were among you. That's psychologically we're psychologically operating on you, whether you're aware of it or not, via through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, via the scriptures. So ultimately, the point here is that you can't be ignorant of this devil's motives, and when you're not ignorant of his motives, you're able to connect, all right, his devices, which go into his technology, his tactics that he uses, all
Mhm.
right, to bring about his ultimate, his agenda, which we know what that is. That's it on that. You
Mhm.
got something you want to bring out too before we get into these clips?
Yes. I would like a scripture in First Corinthians. Excuse me, Slakia. Yeah, there's several of them here. But I had one set up right here, two verses going into exactly the title as well, and the purpose of why it's, excuse me, the purpose of our Lord. Okay, so it's First John, if I may read this, First John
Mhm.
3. I'd like to read two verses actually. You know what? I'll start at verse 7, First John 3 and 7. So this is the Apostle John. Okay, he dealt with the Savior. He was inspired, man, by the spirit of prophecy. So I'm going to read what he says here. And the point is in verse 9, right? So, and I'm going to read from the NLT, all right? So this is 1 John 3:7. It says, "Dear children, don't let anyone deceive you about this. When people do what is right, it shows that they are righteous, even as a Mashiach Yahushua is righteous." Right? And here's verse 8. It says, "But when people keep on sinning, it shows that they belong to the devil, who has been
That's right.
sinning, who has been sinning since the beginning. But the Son of our living power, Yahushua, came to destroy the works of the devil." This is the purpose, right? And in order to build up
On the right-hand side.
on the right hand side, in order to
Yeah.
build up, right? In order to build up, you have to take down, right? So it was set up to take down the established wickedness here on earth to build up righteousness. Okay. And
Yeah, or even to glorify it, right?
simply
Because
put,
like you're saying, through the Lord built up wickedness and built up this devil, and through his destruction, righteousness will be glorified.
that's right. Straight. And here it is. Beautiful point, right? Because we know the kingdom is a people before it's a place. The Lord says so. That he is rebuilding, for lack of a better word. So here's the point. 1 John 3:9, "Those who have been born in Yehovah Shem Yeshua's family do not make a practice of sinning." Right? So in other words, born again. So yes, right? So while the Lord is taking this place down, take you out of it, right? The system, this is not your rest. He's also building those who are going to be born again, right? With his spirit, right? So I'll just read it again. It says, "Those who have been born in the Most High's family," it says God's family, "do not make a practice of sinning, because the Most High's life is in them. They can't keep on sinning because they are the children of Yehovah Shem Yahushua." You see, so that's the ultimate purpose. Why the Lord is going to take down this place and build it back up, right? And he showed you that in his life, right? 3 days. It says 3 days. In 3 days,
Right.
right?
You'll build back. Yeah.
Exactly.
This temple will be built back
Sign,
up.
that's
Yep.
beautiful. The sign of Jonah. That's it, brother.
Yep. Now to back up my point here, because maybe what I said about PSYOP came across a little weird on the right-hand side, but to qualify what I'm saying,
It's all
it
good.
says here, a PSYOP, short for psychological operation, you'll see why I said this,
Okay.
is a planned effort to influence the perceptions, emotions, and behavior of a targeted audience. Who's our
That's
targeted audience? The Israelites, first and
right.
foremost.
That's right.
Then the nations of the world, who are also prophets to the nations, but prophets to Israel first.
That's right.
Okay? So again, a PSYOP, short for psychological operation, is a planned effort, right? The 144,000 who are at the forefront of teaching this word, to influence the perceptions, emotions, and behaviors of a targeted audience, typically using non-physical means. Because we're not out there with whips and guns forcing Israel to believe. We're using non-physical means, which means we're operating in the spirit. We're using the scriptures, right? We're using the scriptures, the Bible, and we're operating in the spirit. Okay. And this is also, as I said, when it says is a planned effort to influence perceptions, emotions, and behavior, that's also goes with breaking strongholds, because we're through this truth, we're breaking the strongholds of wickedness through perceptions, emotions, and behavior. Everybody's on beast mode, which backward is Edom. You see? So the very fact that we're teaching this truth in boldness on the highways and byways and on the internet mean it also is a psychological operation on the right hand side. Whatever's done on the left, whatever's done on the right is done on the left. Okay,
Sweet.
so hopefully that's a little bit more clear as to why I said that. Now the brother Shema is going to join as well, so we'll wait. We'll look out for him.
Right.
But we'll get to this clip here. So the first clip we're going to get into is by David Icke. It says the EU and the agenda to microchip people. Okay, and he mentions something interesting in here concerning basically what we call today gradualism, but he calls it the stepping stone method. And these are, basically the devices or tactics which lead you to the MO, the motive of Satan, of Esau Edom. Okay. So we're gonna play this clip and then we'll get precepts. Let's slow it down because you know me, I have it on hyper speed. All right.
One other thing I'll talk about before I look at solutions, which are very simple, and that's the microchipped population. That's the one that probably sounds most bizarre, as I said earlier, but it is so close. We're already microchipping domestic animals as a matter of course. The Queen's had the corgis done. Did you see that? Last year, she's had the corgis microchipped and linked to a computer. Prince Charles, next year, watch. You'll be. Sort him out. The technique that is being used to bring in the...
Salaka, you can still hear this good, right?
I can hear it clear.
Oh,
clear,
shoot.
Clear. Oh, no.
Wow, I just deleted it. Let me get that back up.
Clear.
Oh, Jesus, come on, man. Okay, you pull that back up. Salaka, bear with me here.
Take your time there.
Boom, boom. History. Okay, beautiful.
To bring in the microchip population is another major...
Okay, I'm just going to restart it a little bit here. Slack it.
One other thing I'll talk about before I look at solutions, which are very simple, and that's the microchipped population. That's the one that probably sounds most bizarre, as I said earlier, but it is so close. We're already microchipping domestic animals as a matter of course. The Queen's had the corgis done. Did you see that? Last year, she's had the corgis microchipped and linked to a computer. Prince Charles, next year, watch. He'll be. Sort him out. The technique that is being used to bring in the microchip population is another major mass mind manipulating technique. I call it the stepping stones technique. A very good example of that is the European Union and what they have in America, the North American Free Trade Agreement, which is a free trade area, which is where the European Union started out, if you recall, and also what's happening in another free trade area in the Pacific Australia area known as APEC. The idea is to have the world government, the bank and all the rest of it, and the next stage down from that will be the European Union, the American Union, which will be this North American free trade area, right the way through the Americas, from North to South America, in an American version of the European Union, and a Pacific version of it. They will be the three next stages down from the world government. And the stepping stones technique is how they're being introduced. If you take the European Union, if you started out at the end of the last war, and what we're heading to now had been suggested, one bank, one currency, centralized control of a superstate. Understandably, I know what my father would have said, who fought in that war. Excuse me a minute, can I just have a quick word here? We've just spent the last 5 years with 55 million people killed and many more severely injured to stop that happening. And you're asking us to do it without a bullet being fired. You must be joking. Go and have a cup of tea. So what the stepping stones technique does, although it knows where it's heading, it does it in stages. It gets away with what it can get away with, first of all, and then starts to move it along, and it presents every step as independent of all the others, so you don't see the pattern. So what was suggested after the last war, not a European superstate, because that had no chance at that time, it was the common market, just a free trade area, ladies and gentlemen, nothing to worry about. And by the way, if we don't join, we starve. Little problem. Well, we better join then, I guess, So, suddenly, some of the states of Europe start to fuse their economies together in a free trade area. Now we're in the web, because it's suggested very strongly that if anyone pulls out, there will be economic chaos, certainly in the short term. So now we're in the spider's web. So the process then starts of evolving a free trade area into a European centralized superstate. And first we have...
Okay, so he broke down basically the basic idea of what he was breaking down goes into how each step that Esau presents is independent of each other, hence making it hard to connect each event to the next, leaving people in chaos in each event. That's what's playing out right now. This is what he's using. This is what he's been using throughout decades. Okay, now I'm going to bring out chat just to clarify or bring some more clarity to that. And then we'll bring out some precepts and move on. What the hell is this? Okay, so I pulled it up in chat here. Okay. And it tells us, so it says here, the stepping stone technique, what David Icke also calls totalitarian tiptoe. Okay, totalitarian tiptoe.
Tiptoe?
Yeah, totalitarian tiptoe.
Okay.
Is his idea of how massive societal changes get slipped in quietly, 1 inch at a time. No thunderclap, no sudden chains, just a slow tightening of the net, okay, which is also representing as a system, hence also a trap, okay. Anyhow, it says the core idea is in plain terms, idea of focusing a huge change, instead of forcing a huge change all at once, which people would resist, power structures introduce small, seamlessly harmless steps. Each step looks isolated, reasonable, temporary, and necessary. But together, they're leading somewhere. As he describes if those in control want to move society from point A to point Z, they don't leap, they drip. So little by little. One change at a time, each presented as an end in itself, but actually part of a larger direction. By the time people notice the destination, by the time people notice the destination, they're already standing in it. You see?
Yep.
And that's what Jacob's trouble is going to be like to the world and you rebellious Israelites. You're not going to understand, but once it hits, it's going to hit you suddenly. Why? Because you've been led along gradually and you've been manipulated and taken advantage of by Satan's devices because of your rebellious heart. You see? So these people are going to crash out when this society collapses. We're going to see, we're going to see people lose it. Okay. As it says, by the time people notice the destination, they're already standing in it. The method, how it's supposed to work. According to Ike's framework, step 1, start small, introduce small, minor, new policies, a cultural shifts, safety measures, a temporary restriction, nothing that screams tyranny. Step 2, normalize it. People adjust. What once felt strange becomes background noise. Yeah, like this whole Epstein thing.
Right.
People are just a bunch of hypocrites. All you Americans are, people are getting all in an uproar about it, but you're just, all these other Americans are poor Epsteins. If they had that kind of money, they would be into all kind of debauchery as well.
That's right. Let me say it's gradually forcing their habits without them knowing that their habits are being forced.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's,
the
it
acceptance.
says,
Yep. No, go
no,
ahead.
you
That's
got
it.
it.
No, I was gonna just
Okay.
say, yeah, gradually, yeah. So, simply put, man, you don't, you're not gonna know until you're in, till you say, wait a minute.
Still it's too late.
You're gonna say, wait a minute. They used to say that it's bad to eat salt, but now they're saying it's okay to eat salt,
Yep.
right? What? That's how you're gonna respond. That's, as a matter of fact, that's how the people are responding now. They're waking up and
Well, look
saying,
at the Khan. Well,
no, take your
Salakia,
time.
look at the
No,
Crown
that's a
Royal,
point. That's a point I wanted to make. Go
right?
ahead, finish it,
Look
brother.
at the
Go ahead.
Crown Royal. Look at the Crown
Mhm.
Royal, right?
Right.
Right? Look at the Crown Royal. They pushed that out, the poison dart. They pushed that out, and then
Mm-hmm.
they came back saying it was bad. It was this. It was all this stuff came out about it. So that's an example of people not understanding the destination until they're already there. You already took it. Now you know that it's bad for you, but you already
Yeah,
took it.
you already took it though. Wow.
So that's how the chip is going to work. You
Mm-hmm.
see, this is why we do these lessons because that's how the chip is going to work. Right? You're going to get to the destination, chip yourself, and then you're going to realize, oh shit, what the hell did I do?
I just do.
But it'll be too late. So Satan got an advantage of you, and he got you to sell out your birthright. So now you got to be destroyed by Yahweh Shem Shai.
Wow. Wow.
That's what we're involved in. That's what's going on. This is why Ephesians 6 and 12 tells us what it tells us, that we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places, man.
That's right.
And the Lord's put in the spirit on the prophets, sorry, the apostles, right? Because of great millstone and the bishops on down, because we have 100% truth to expose this devil in what he's doing.
That's right.
So the elect don't get, caught off guard. But we know the elect are already not going to get caught off guard. But we're
That's
working
right.
on our salvation. So
That's right.
Um,
The just shall live by his faith, right? And a
That's
lot
right.
of Israelites are, I don't know, they've lost their faith. But anyway, just wanted to say that. Go ahead, brother. The just shall live by his
yeah,
faith.
2/3.
Mhm.
So it says like moving a fence post a foot every week. No one notices the shrinking field. Step 3, build on it. Now the next step feels less shocking because we already accepted something like this before. You see, you had credit cards, right?
Mhm.
And then from the credit card, first you had the dollar, right? Paper currency.
Mhm.
You went from gold to paper currency, right? And then from paper currency to credit cards. And then from credit cards / debit cards, now we're going to tapping. You see?
Mhm.
And from tapping your card, what are you going to do? The next step is the next phase is to get an RFID chip in your body. So now you just wave your hand. And they're already doing it. You already have stores, multiple stores, and multiple people with the chip. That's the thing. It's already here. The infrastructure's already ready. They just need to bring about that global Black Swan event.
Mhm.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Yahweh Shema Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom. Yahweh Bashem Shai Barakatah. Shalom.
Shalom. Okay, so let's continue. It says, we are already accepting something like this before. And so yesterday's exception becomes today's standard.
Mhm.
Today's standard becomes tomorrow's baseline. You see?
Baseline. Wow.
Shabbat Shalom. Yahweh Bashem Shai Barakatah. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yahweh Shem Shabbat. Okay, so it says, classic. Oh, you know what? Matter of fact, Shema, can you get that precept in Ecclesiastes, not Ecclesiastes, 2 Ezra 15, where it says, my people being led as sheep to the slaughter?
Mhm.
And that's what's going on, right? All right, so let me continue. You let me know when you got it.
Khan. Second.
It says, you got it?
Yeah, Khan, I got it. Second Ezra 15. Straight to the point.
Fine.
Verse 9. And it reads, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Mhm.
Verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
You
I will
see?
not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
Yeah. So the Lord is going to lead that, and the ones that He's not going to suffer to dwell in that land. Really, it's all of Israel, but the elect are going to get beamed up and be protected from that destruction. But the rest of Israel, you're gonna die on this side. 2/3 are gonna die on this side in America. All the 2/3 are gonna be dead in America. Okay, and they're gonna come back in the kingdom. But the point in that precept is that Israel is being led, all right, like a sheep to the slaughter, and it's based upon these the wicked devices of Esau, Edom, as well as their unbelief. Okay, because your unbelief is what makes you blind to Esau, Edom's motives, his devices.
Um,
So continuing on here, it says classic illustration using his own framing. Ike often pointed to long-term political or social in integrations as examples. Instead of announcing we're creating a central superstate, you start with trade agreements, corporation councils, shared regulations. Each sounds practical on its own. But over time, the structure evolves into something much larger. Yeah, because what are we entering it? That's exactly what's happening with technology. That's why you have all these data centers being built up, and everybody's moving towards a digital currency. You see, but they're doing it independently, so it doesn't look like what we're saying it is. But that's the whole point of Esau Edom's trickery, his deception. Okay, he makes things look independent of themselves. So when the prophets are telling the truth, we look bugged out. But when all hell breaks loose and it all plays out, then you're gonna know that you were bugged out.
that's right.
Okay. But over time, the structure evolves into something much larger without ever triggering mass rejection early on. It's companion, problem, reaction, solution. So it's the same thing as what David Icke is talking about. This stepping stone approach is often paired to his thinking with another idea: create or amplify a crisis, problem demands action, offer the pre-planned solution, but even the solution is rarely the final destination. It's just another stone in the river.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's basically the point on that. Okay, in terms of what he was talking about, the stepping stone tactic. I'm going to bring out this precept here. This is Psalm 64:2. Okay, and I'm going to jump around. This is verse 2 in the NLT, or actually, I'll read this in the King James. It says, hide me from the secret counsels of the wicked, right? And we're hidden, right? The whole full left started with 144,000. We're hidden, all right, in this truth, in this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. We're hidden in it because it's only privy to the whole full elect. So through us being hidden in this knowledge, we're also able to see through and scopeo this devil and what he does. This is why we're able to prophesy against him and expose him. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Okay? I'm gonna skip down. Yeah, I'm gonna skip down. I just want to get to the point. It says here, verse 5, it says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately.
Mm-hmm.
They say, who shall see them? You see, this is why for them, us doing this and exposing this devil on everything he does, and we're doing it and we're tying it to the scriptures, is blowing their minds. They're losing sleep.
That's right.
You have to understand, they have spent a lot of money and they have sacrificed a lot of people in having everybody beguiled by his wine, but nothing trumps the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
So it says, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought at every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay. NLT, it says, as they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan, right? Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning.
Wow.
NLT, continue on. It said, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was holding this because you brought it up again, and that's a spirit. It came up again in regards to this device. You went and broke it down from chat and gave scripture in regards to it. So I pulled it up on Etam.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, real quick, just go to the meat of it, right? Because you said some things last there when you just mentioned it again, and then boom, it hit me. So it says here in regards to the device, the word device, I'm going to go straight to the meat of it. It says the basic sense is a method by which something is divided, right? Which arose in Old French and led to a range of modern meanings via the notion of something invented or fitted to a particular use or purpose. Hence, an invention. You see it, right? You broke down the first part of it, and then you touched on this thing, this invention, and it says, and constructed tool, inventiveness, contriving a plan or scheme, right? Very same thing that they were saying. I thought I'd bring that up for what it's worth, right? But the point there is an invention, and it says tool of inventiveness, right? Because they're selling it to the world as something great. These devices. And it says a contriving plan or scheme. So we know these words here when it points to the left-handed power. It's not going to be, it's not going to look good for you people out there. But anyway, that's the point. You folks can read on more about it. It goes on into computing or electronic instrument, but I'm not going to read that part because you already covered that. But I just wanted to emphasize the tool, inventiveness, a contriving plan or scheme. That's what this device, the device and these devices, the MOTB device, okay, and all the other devices around it, that ties into the psychological operations to deceive you people. Anyway, that's all I got.
That's right. That's right. Right. The wiles of the devil.
That's right. That's right. So verse 7, it says here in the G, I'll continue. NLT says, but Yahweh himself, Yahweh Shemashai himself, will shoot them with his arrows, suddenly striking them down.
That's right.
Okay. Going to the missiles. Right, but ultimately and spiritually, the words, these scriptures, okay, these are also likened to these epistles that we do are like spiritual arrows, right, towards Esau's strongholds. Okay, it says, verse 8, their own tongues will ruin them, right, and all who see them will shake their heads in scorn, right? So being aware of his devices leads to also exposing him, which also leads to his house being divided. Okay? Because he's being exposed. That's why his house is divided. He's being exposed.
Yeah.
So verse 9, it says, then everyone will be afraid. They will proclaim the mighty acts of Yahweh and realize all the amazing things he does. Yeah, because that's gonna, people are gonna think back to, oh my goodness, the Lord has set up prophets from the very beginning exposing this guy the whole time, and we were all beguiled by his wickedness, his wine. So the elect are gonna get great fame and glory in the kingdom of heaven, man, for what they're doing. Great fame and glory. We're not just standing up against any old system. This is the greatest empire since the beginning of the rule of these heathens, man.
That's right.
So verse 10, it says, the godly will rejoice
Can I
in
bring
the
this
Lord.
up real quick to land back?
Gone.
Just to land back what you said, Zaquan, right? Because when these things come to pass, people are going to be like you said, Ezekiel 33 and 33 real quick, and it reads, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Right? These people are going to see these things taking place. 2/3 of the people are going to see these things taking place. A lot of us have 2/3 family members. They're going to see these things taking place. They're going to say, man, they're going to call us by our government name. He was right. They're going to call us on our phone. What do you think's happening?
That's right.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's
con.
right.
Straight.
Last verse here, it says, Psalm 64:10, the godly will rejoice in the Lord and find shelter in him. And those who do what is right will praise him. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Brothers are going to, if brothers don't have anything else, I'm going to bring this out. This is Micah 2:1
And
NLT.
us
It
in this
says, "What
truth,
saw?"
you know,
Yeah, go ahead.
we're
It's
Salakia.
yeah. No, you're good. There's a bit of a
Pop up
lag,
pages, we're
so you're good.
excited. Okay, con. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
excited. We're seeing
con,
prophecy pop off the page. You know,
con.
our family members are some of our family members are starting to bug out. You know, they wonder
Mm-hmm.
why we're so calm. You know, you guys are
Mm-hmm.
calm. You guys are you're not upset. What's going? You're not shaking. We're not shaking. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're
Mm-hmm.
actually throwing up prayers constantly, throwing up the curses constantly, begging Yahweh Shem Yashai to speed it up. You know,
That's
we
right.
we we want it to. We don't want it to turn back. We don't want quote unquote back to normal.
Hell no. And really and truly, it's not even normal. This is abnormal. This is as far as this is as far from normal as we can get.
That's right.
So this is Micah 2:1 NLT. It says, "What sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night, thinking up evil plans? You rise at dawn and hurry to carry them out, simply because you have the power to do so. When you want a piece of land, okay, and they want the whole earth, okay, you find a way to seize it. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence, okay? You cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance. Okay. And this is why everything is being bought up. How much land does Bill Gates own? Okay, Bill Gates own in America. Okay, how many farmers have lost their land because of chemtrails and then their seed not growing, their crop not growing, and then them foreclosing, all right, on their land, and now somebody else has a giant, okay, an agricultural giant, an elite comes and buys up that land. That's what they do, and they do this all through their
Hmm.
policies,
Hmm.
okay, unrighteous decrees.
Hmm.
That's why you got James chapter 5,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
The laborer complaining. So this is what they do, man. It says verse 3, but this is what the Lord Yahweh says: I will reward your evil with evil. You won't be able to pull your neck out of the noose. Damn. You will no longer walk around proudly, for it will be a terrible
Mhm.
time. In that day, your enemies will make fun of you.
Mm.
No, that's it. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, you have more video to go? Or okay,
Yep.
take your
Yeah, yeah,
time. Let's save it for later.
yeah. This is just the last precept. I had three precepts. Remember the last one here. It says Proverbs 4:16. NLT, for evil people can't sleep until they've done their evil deed for the day. They can't rest until they've caused someone to stumble. They eat the food of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Okay. And real quick, I pulled it up in the chat as well. Real quick, it says
Mm-hmm.
what Solomon is really describing. This isn't petty wrongdoing. This is institutionalized evil, the kind that becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And this is what everybody's drunk on, the wine of Edom. Like I said, everybody's on beast mode. It says three traits stand out: relentless drive towards wrongdoing. There aren't people who occasionally slip. They are people who cannot rest unless harm is done. Evil is not accidental to them; it is their occupation. And you know what? For the sake of time, I'm just going to read this point here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make this too long. But it says here, today, many look at global power structures, financial institutions, corporations, or corporate monopolies, political networks, and see something eerily familiar. A system that often profits from crisis, advances through disruption, stabilizes itself through instability elsewhere. War markets boom, debt debt expands during disaster, control grows during fear.
Wow.
Okay, so it says it's exposing a timeless pattern. Power that feeds on power that feeds on breakdown will always manufacture breakdown. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. When influence becomes addicted to leverage over people, engineered dependence, social fracture, it begins to eat the bread of wickedness. When systems require conflict to grow, division to rule, and this is the B system, this is
Mm-hmm.
all the B system, des- uh, desperation to stabilize markets, it begins to drink the wine of violence. Yeah, so
When the wicked rule, the people
there
are
you go.
in mourning.
That's right.
Constant,
That's right.
constant mourning. There's no break.
That's right.
Wow.
Okay, so let's go into the aspect. We'll skip ahead of this. We'll go into the aspect of the House is divided.
Beautiful.
Okay, because he goes into their laws and referendums that they make to pass, pass along their agenda, all these different bills they make. But for the sake of time, let's go into the aspect of him being divided, this house being divided, because we kind of touched up on that already.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Arrows of Indignation 144, so describing the edified. It says, the division among Esau is leading to a physical war amongst themselves. Egypt versus Egyptian. Egyptian versus Egyptian.
Tonight, at the direction of President Trump, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro attempted to persuade.
Can you slow this down?
A grand jury. Last night, at the direction of President Trump, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro attempted to persuade a grand jury to indict us on criminal charges. If things had gone a different way, we'd be preparing for arrest. Fortunately, her attempt failed, and a group of anonymous Americans upheld the rule of law and determined that this case should not proceed. Just to review the bidding, this started with a 90-second video in November that a group of us organized, all of us with military and service backgrounds, simply restating the law in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, that military members had a duty to refuse illegal orders. We said nothing more than everyone from Secretary Pete Hegseth and Attorney General Pam Bondi have said themselves out of their own mouths. For that, President Trump said that we should be investigated, arrested, and ultimately hanged. And that's exactly what he had Pirro and Bondi do yesterday. They had opened an inquiry in December, they carried it forward in January, and when we refused to sit for a voluntary interview, in 7 days' time, they went in front of a grand jury. But to be clear, this is not about the content of this one video. Let's call it for what it is. The president is using our justice system to weaponize against his perceived enemies. I think that we've come to a really sad moment in America where the paradigm of leadership has come in completely reversed. In 2026, instead of looking to our elected leaders like the president as setting an example, it is now up to individual citizens in their private capacity to uphold the values of democracy, free speech, liberty, justice. As Mark said, this is an authority.
So she's inciting civil unrest. Okay, that's what she did, and that's because through the exposure, all right, of his wickedness, Esau
Mm-hmm.
Edom, he's losing trust. So now people are waking up and are going to take matters into their own hands, and that's all Bible prophecy. That's what's going to lead to the civil unrest. This exposure leads to the civil unrest, and we know the top wicked elite. That's what they want as well. All right, because the Lord has put it in their hearts as well to basically destroy America from within. And you people are just slowly catching up to it now. And only the elect are going to fully understand. The rest of you are going to understand when it's too late. Let's play a little bit more. We'll get some precepts.
Authoritarian playbook that many of us have watched play out abroad over and over and over again, except now we're seeing it in the United States.
This is outrageous. I want to be clear about something. This is not a good news story. This is a story about how Donald Trump and his cronies are trying to break our system in order to silence anyone who lawfully speaks out against them, and to send a signal to every American that they better think twice before they speak out, or they might be next. I want to emphasize this because it's important. Federal prosecutors went to a grand jury to seek criminal charges against members of the United States Senate for something we said. They tried to have us charged and thrown into jail because we said something that they didn't like, because we repeated what the law actually is. This happened here. This is straight from the authoritarian playbook. This did not happen in Russia or China. In Russia and China, we see these things. This didn't happen decades ago. It happened less than a mile from this building in the United States of America yesterday.
Yep. And this is why the scriptures say what they say here. I'm sure you brothers have this precept queued up too, eh? Isaiah 19.
Mm-hmm. True Lord.
All right, then. Yeah, you got it.
No, I didn't pull it up.
Okay, kind of. Okay, I'll read it. You can go into it.
Go ahead.
So I'll start from 1, but the point is in verse 4, where it talks about the cruel Lord. Okay. So that's what's happening. Even if this is theater and it's a psyop, that's okay, because it's still prophecy in the end of the day, and that's all that matters, is if these events line up to Bible prophecy. Because you should be looking for your way out of this place. You should be looking for the downfall of this place, hastening the day. Okay, so anyhow, this is Isaiah 19:1. It says, "The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud."
That's right. Simply put, man, you're not going to be able to figure it out until you actually see it. Just like when the Lord allowed chariots to uncloak. Okay, but the prophets understand this. But his coming is going to be magnificent. There's no word to describe it. You can't make no movies. Okay, so yes, swift. That's a powerful word right there. You people should go into it. I'll continue, brother. Coming on.
Yeah, but what's the cloud? You got to break down the cloud.
Oh, the chariot, his chariot,
right.
The faithful.
There you go.
It's called faithful. I think it's Revelation 19. Faithful and true, right? And it's going to come swift. But yeah, simply put, he's going to allow you to say, hide us from the face of him that sitteth upon the throne, Yahweh. Okay, the judge, right? Yeah. And from the wrath of the Lamb. Okay, and he's angry. Okay, he's angry. Okay, righteous anger. All right. So yeah.
Yeah, because Egypt has to. Yeah, because Egypt has to deal with the judgment, hence the burden, right? The burden of Egypt. So Egypt has to deal with the judgment of Yahweh Shai and the host of heaven coming in swift clouds of chariots and doing damage as well.
That's right.
It says, "And shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence."
That's right. Can you imagine that, right? Every form of idolatry, in terms the statues, the people, excuse me, the ones that he preserved to be destroyed, right? Hide us from the face of him, simply put.
That's right.
And he'll have other people there too that's associated with them to kill them, and it's not going to be pleasant. Okay.
It says, "And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it."
That's right. So simply put, their minds, man. Hey, a lot of them are going to bug out even while they're being executed. Okay. Hey, look, they'll fool themselves. They'll do whatever the Lord calls. Right.
Yeah.
They're going to see strange. It's going to look. Hey, wow. That chariot, man, is going to do some strange things. All different types of death. This I'll just say this real quick. You know that there was a show called 1,000 Ways to Die, right?
Yeah,
When the Lord works on the mind, it'll be crazier than that. Okay, that I know for a fact, because He's the one that ordained 1,000 ways to die, and the Lord's going to have more than 1,000 ways to take out wickedness. Excuse me. Righteous cleansing. Go ahead.
God. So verse 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
Right, jumping forward and backwards, but simply put, this is happening while we speak, and it's going to be even greater when the Lord put His appearance in. But simply put, right now, they're telling against themselves.
That's right.
Okay, right? David Icke, I don't know who this man is, right? I never looked into if it's an Israelite or what have you. But if he's an
David
Edomite,
Icke?
yeah, I'm not sure if.
Oh, you never go in? Oh, okay.
No, I mean, no, I don't know his. I've seen stuff about him, but I'm just saying, if he's an Israelite, let me just be clear.
Yeah.
If he's an Israelite, then that's a blessing to him. Okay. If he's an Edomite, he's under the spirit of this Egyptian against Egyptian here, and there's nothing that you can do about it because the Lord ordained that. They're going to tell against each other.
Yep, and you're seeing this is
right.
We're reading this because this is what we're witnessing. This is what you're witnessing.
That's right.
Right before your eyes in America and throughout the four corners of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It just America is the target, the main target of the Most High. But you have civil unrest brewing throughout the four corners of the earth. That is prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
That is Bible prophecy playing out before your eyes. Because we're reading it. Okay, it says. And I will say, and you know what, let me get this in NLT. It says, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, right? Province, which is the state, against province. You're seeing the red and blue states fight against each other in America. That is the spiritual Egypt. America is spiritually Egypt. Okay, so this is prophecy playing before your eyes.
Yeah, the whore is she's freaking out.
Yeah.
And that's not the freak that you people think I'm talking about. We don't understand. She's going mad.
Yeah. Verse 3, NLT, it says, the Egyptian will lose heart. The Egyptians will lose heart. Right? So you know that slap it. You got it.
Oh, the spirit. So the spirit that the Lord put upon Egypt. Right, you can clearly see they're going to fight against each other. They're going to bug out, right? None of the wicked will understand. So that's the type of spirit that'll be upon them, right? And that spirit is incorruptible. You can't do anything against it.
That's right. Yeah. I'm gonna read this real quick because that spirit. This is what that spirit is. When you read this in Isaiah, it says the Egyptian will lose heart, right? And and then it also says that in verse 2 that the spirit, or that was verse 1, the spirit of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. This is what's going to melt, going to the spirit. So this is Isaiah 47, and let's see. And let me start at 5. Okay, NLT, it says here, O beautiful Babylon, sit now in darkness and silence. Never again will you be known as the Queen of Kingdoms.
That's right.
I
was going to say, I was going to say real quick, simply put, you won't be over the people anymore. Okay, kingdoms, right? The people and their lands, right? And you're not going to be able to control their minds. Right, those minds belong to Yahweh Shem Yoshai. Simply put, right, it says they're never again. Right, so in other words, we're as you mentioned earlier on, we're how would you say, seeing it build up right before our eyes. It's gradually happening because the Lord is in control. So you could see the people's minds are being shoved away from the ways of Egypt because the Lord is put a spirit of darkness and confusion on them. But they know that this system is not what it's supposed to be, is not going to get them out of it. But yet they still have that hope. But that's just a simply put, the Lord have them on that.
Yeah, well, and simply put, ultimately, this is going into the pride, right,
That's right.
of the people.
Blinded.
That's what this is going into, the pride of the people. So that heart, that spirit that will melt when Yahushua cracks in the clouds while there's missiles pelting America is the pride of the American people that they have. And their pride came out of what? Also their system, right? Their governmental system, their financial system. But all that is being exposed. Therefore, it's crumbling, and therefore they're losing heart. This is why it's going to lead to civil unrest, because everything that they prided themselves upon and was found out to be a lie. So now they're going to take matters into their own hands and come up against their own rulers. That's prophecy.
That's right. That's right.
So it says here, "O beautiful Babylon, sit now in darkness and silence. Never again will you be known as the queen of kingdoms. For I was angry with my chosen people, the Israelites." This is why we were put into slavery here in America. Okay, hardcore slavery. "And punish them by letting them fall into your hands. But you, Babylon," right? "Showed no mercy. You oppressed even the elderly," right? So they went in. You said, going into that heart, that spirit of pride, you said, "I will reign forever as a queen of the world." You did not reflect on your actions or think about their consequences. And now this is why the American people, all right, are feeling it. They're feeling it because they never thought about these things. They were living in the grandeur, okay, of the wine of Babylon.
Pride of Babylon.
Yeah, the pride of life. So listen, it says here, verse 8, "Listen to this, you pleasure-loving kingdom, being at ease and feeling secure. You say, I am the only one," right? MAGA, Make America Great Again.
That's right.
Land of the free. What's the other one? What's another saying?
Home of the brave.
Brave. Yeah, exactly. Which is really home of the proud.
Right. Oh, well, brave, right? Proud. Yes, like it.
Yeah. Land of the free and home of the brave is really land of the rebellious and home of the proud.
That's right.
Okay.
Simply put.
So listen to this, you pleasure-loving kingdom, living at ease and feeling secure. You say, I am the only one, and there is none other. I will never be a widow or lose my children. So the American people always thought they were protected. They were always thought they were protected from any sort of downfall or destruction, like they witnessed overseas. This is why, what's his name, when he came over to the office, the White House, he said, "Watch, you think because you're overseas that you're protected." And then Trump got all proud and was like, "You can't tell us what's going to happen to us," but that's the scriptures as well.
Zelensky, right? Was that Zelensky?
Yeah, Zelensky.
Zelensky.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zelensky.
Yeah.
He should be more stout than his fellows.
That's right.
Right? He should be more stout than his fellows. So this is what the Lord says. Well, both of these things will come upon you in a moment. Widowhood, the loss of your children. Yes, these calamities will come upon you despite all your witchcraft and magic. You got it.
Straight.
Yeah, you want to go into it?
Can you read it again? I was reading.
Yeah. I'll read it again. It says, well, both these things will come upon you in a moment.
That's right.
Widowhood and the loss of your children. Yes, these calamities will come upon you despite all your witchcraft and magic.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the first verse of what we read in Isaiah 19 clearly shows that it's going to be a terrible day. But I will preface this, right? Because we didn't put up a precept in regards to the nuclear missiles, right? That's going to bring great confusion. And then the Lord's appearing in verse 19 of Isaiah 19:1, right? Is the icing on the cake, right? In other words, they can run. They're going to run into their bunkers when the missiles hit, but you're going to be you're going to be dealt with the Lord's coming, man.
Yeah,
it's going to be terrible, right? So that being said, simply put, that loss of children and widowhood, man, is going to be that real reality when you realize that America is officially finished, right? The nukes hit and then the Lord's appearing all simultaneously.
Mhm.
Simply
Yep.
put.
And that witchcraft that these top wicked elites and all these politicians, right? All the stooges of the top wicked elite, all that witchcraft and idolatry that they were into, it's not going to work. Them demons are going to cut off communication, man. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
In the
'Cause
world, they said you're left on red.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Lord,
That's
Lord
right.
has controlled that spirit.
And that with thine enchantments.
That's
Mhm.
right. That's right.
That's right. Spirit of failure is
That's
on
what
it.
we're reading.
That's right. Salaka, go ahead, brother. You were going to say? Because I'm saying it's a spirit that ultimately the spirit of witchcraft and all of that is going to be no more, have no effect.
Yep.
That's right.
So verse 10, last verse, you felt secure in your wickedness. No one sees me, you said.
Mhm.
For your wisdom and knowledge have led you astray.
Mhm.
And you said, I am the only one, and there is no other. Yeah.
Well,
And so this, go ahead. You got
no,
it.
they're in secret right now, but it's not a secret to the Lord's prophets. It's
That's
a
right.
secret to you dum-dums. That's why the proud system can say, we don't see you. But Psalm 64 says yes, right? And that's why the Lord will hide the elect from the secret counsels of the wicked. But it's exposed, simply put. But yeah, they stay still proud going down. They say you're not seeing us, right? But the prophets see
it
it.
makes sense. It makes sense, right? Because what we're doing is literally a miracle. Like
That's right.
when you really tap into everything this devil has done to conceal the truth, like it makes sense why it's a miracle. It just further proves that us waking up, the Lord waking us up, is a miracle because
That's
He
right.
has this place entrenched.
Wow.
It's entrenched to the very point where it's literally in people's minds. It's in their minds when they sleep and when they wake up. It's in their mind. Esau Edom's system is filtering itself in their mind or living in their mind. We have the Rakakadash to keep us from that. So when we read this here, it says you felt secure in your wickedness. You look at his tactics and his devices, and you're like, yeah, it makes sense. No one sees me, you said, right? But that's what they do. They will push out, all right, a law, see how people react, and then they'll pivot based upon the temperature. And
That's
people
right.
don't do anything, they move forward, right? So it says you felt secure in your wickedness. No one sees me, you said, but you said, but your wisdom, right, and knowledge have led you astray because it's not true wisdom, right? And it led you astray. So if it's not true wisdom, the reason being is because true wisdom has you fear the Lord first and foremost. But when you don't fear the Lord and you have all this knowledge, you're really shooting in the dark simply because through your pride, all right, you're darkened to the Lord because the Lord doesn't deal with a prideful person. And Esau Edom is made that way. So his whole existence, all right, his whole existence is unaware to the Most High. So he thought he was good.
No, simply put, the deceiver and deceiver is. Hey,
That's it.
That's straight, brother. I mean,
Yep.
for you people, if you can receive what was just said, right? You he even thinks that he's good.
Yeah.
If you approach him, he'll say, I'm the devil. And there's nothing you can do about it. Bring it on. No, I've met these people. Yeah, he says, I'm the Esau many times, I'm the devil. But the scripture says, like you read here, real quick, it says, but your wisdom and your knowledge have led you astray. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, right? We know this, it's revealed to us. And we know that wisdom is going down because the Lord controls everything, right?
That's right.
It's finished.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to fail. It's going to fail because it's in the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
Right, and there it is. Here's a deceiving point, brother. I'm sorry to
major.
No, I was going to say, here's the deceiving point of what was just said. For you folks, receive what was just said. It says, and you said, I am the only one, and there's no other. He's deceived himself. right? But
Yeah.
the Lord
Mhm.
has done it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maga, maga.
You got it, Shema.
Mhm.
It's good, John. Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, he's removed, he's put himself up at that like he is a god, and now he's introducing AI as his god. Scriptures say the fool
Mhm.
saith in his heart, there is no God, right? These guys are
Hmm.
they're demons, they're devils,
That's it, man.
and
Straight up.
they're gonna continue to push forth their narrative. AI can rewrite the scriptures that Bug Out was saying a few weeks ago, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
right? And truth is, where people they're so drunk with Esau's pseudoscience, like you said, Zaquan, they wake up with Esau's wine on their brain.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
When
right.
we wake up, the first thing we
Yeah.
say, as soon as we hit consciousness and we wake up, the first thing I know brothers can attest to this, the first thing we say in our
Absolutely.
mind, Kala la Yahweh Bashim
How about
Yahushai.
Shimmy Shai?
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
That's
right.
right.
these bug outs
That's
are
right.
all, I got they hit the snooze on their alarm. Oh, I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. They scroll some folly and they're out there in the world.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Spirit of
So
Egypt
verse.
is
Yeah.
failed.
That's right. Spirit of Egypt. Yeah. Last verse. It says, "So disaster will overtake you." Verse 11, NLT,
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 47.
Mm-hmm.
So disaster will overtake you, and you won't be able to charm it away.
Wow.
Calamity will fall upon you, right? And you won't be able to buy your way out of it. So there is no quantitative easing, QE, which is a term for printing money. There's no bailouts for this one. All right. These devils are going to bring this house down because the Lord put it in their minds to do so.
None.
They're going to bring it down. And the only way you're going to get back online is through the chip.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's
It
right.
says a catastrophe will strike you suddenly, one for which you are not prepared. Exactly.
That's right.
Mm.
Right. And
Mhm.
ultimately, we know
Mhm.
the signal for us is when the Lord allows him to introduce the MOTB, the chip. Right.
Mhm.
All hell is going to break loose. Because in line in regards to those polycrises, simply put, will come. Hey, it's going to come nuclear war, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's going to be some war. There's going to be a few things
Mhm.
that's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to happen, all simultaneously. We believe that in regards to these crises. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we know those arrows are going to come.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yep.
it's not going to
That's right.
end well. It's not going to end well for him. Right? Let me read that again. Calamities.
Mhm.
Verse
Mhm.
19. Yeah, I'm just going to read it again and just be quiet on that. That verse, brother, in regards to his calamities. Verse 11, the final one.
Oh. Okay. Isaiah 47. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just
Go ahead.
it says so disasters will overtake you and you won't be able to charm it away. Calamity will fall upon you. So go into that word, you people, and you won't be able to buy your way out, right? Because that catastrophe will strike you suddenly. See, it lists all these things at once. So we already know. Okay. And it says,
Mhm.
one for which
Mhm.
you are not prepared. Too many polycrises. Yahushua said it back there. All right. Matthew 24. That's it. You're going to bring it.
Okay. So going back here in Isaiah 10 and 3.
And the
And
prophets,
you got it. You got it.
Salakia. Yeah,
Mm.
and the prophets of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yoshai are the only men on the face of the earth, the destruction via thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles, in tandem with the
Hmm.
laser beams from the chariots, the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. We're the
Hmm.
only men prophesying this.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
right. Boom. Wow.
That's right.
Crazy.
Showing you a great distinction of who the Lord is dealing with.
That's right. Straight.
Okay, I'm going to read verse 3 to 4. Shema, you break it down. So, Isaiah 19 and 3, it says, the Egyptian and NLT will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. They will plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead. It's a bit of a lag.
Right. So
Yeah.
you wizards, you warlocks, Esau's elites. Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah. You wizards, you warlocks, you know, you elites of Esau, Edom. You know, the Lord has these left-hand spirits, left-hand deities, has them. Ultimately, this is the will of the Lord. So you're in a trick bag.
That's right. That's right. That's
You
right.
know, these left-hand deities are telling you things to ultimately lead you to your demise.
Damn.
Confusion, huh?
Wow.
That's
Wow.
confusion.
Talk about double agent.
Double agent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Last verse here. I will hand Egypt over to a hard and cruel master.
Oh,
A fierce king will rule them, says the Lord Yahweh, the Lord of heaven's armies.
oh, go
Yeah,
into
we
the
believe
Shama.
it's that fierce, that cruel Lord. Nero 47, DT 45,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
DJ
right.
DJ 45. You know, and he's showing signs
Yeah,
of how he's ruling, man. You know,
that's right.
he's giving military powers to you know
Yeah.
regular mid-level Edomites and giving them badges and masks, and they're out here
Mhm.
terrorizing their fellow citizens. Right, one of the first signs of a society turning into a military state or a communist state is the militarization of their police
Yep,
force. Right, we
that's
see it
right.
all the time in these third world countries. They have warlords. They call them warlords. You know, and
Hmm.
they try and have coups to get them out of power. You know,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
once upon a time they were presidents, and now they're just warlords, and they
Right.
have secret police, and the citizens live in fear, and they have gulags and hidden prisons. Right, Trump's doing the same thing with his so-called concentration camps. Right,
Yep.
opening up all these empty warehouses. He's spitting a narrative. Oh, it's for homeland security. Right,
Right.
but the war is against
Right.
the tribes.
Con. Con. Yep. That's a fact. Yep. Um. Yeah, man. I had more queued up, but I mean, let's not make this too long. But damn. Okay, I'm gonna play this last little bit. All right.
All right.
I'll play this last little bit, and we'll
Stick
get
with
one
it.
precept, and then you guys got it.
Okay.
Money and eventually pulled the pound out of the monetary system of Europe was Norman Lamont, Bilderberg Group. Now, when I was talking in Sweden just a few weeks ago,
And this is perfect because this will show you, will tie into everything we're just saying about civil war, civil unrest, because it's going to come through the collapse of the dollar, right? How they do that, well, we're going to wait and see. There's many avenues they can take, but it will lead to poly crises, many crises once the dollar collapses, because it will collapse. That is a must. The scriptures say so. Okay, it will collapse.
talking about this, and some member of the audience in Sweden came up and said, I couldn't believe it when you mentioned that guy, George Soros. He said, what happened in Sweden, he said, was before we went into the European community, all the opinion polls were very strongly against going in. He said, then this guy, George Soros, Bilderberg Group, started attacking the Swedish currency. The Swedish government tried to defend the currency under the prime ministership of Carl Bilderberg Group, and eventually chaos ensued. And a great fear started to go into the Swedish psyche of, oh my goodness, we need protection. What's going on here? We can't stand alone. Even speculators are taking our currency apart. After that, the opinion polls for going into the European community flipped to the majority saying yes, and in they went. So now, stepping stones, we're now in a situation where we are light years away from what we actually joined. Stepping stones. Only now are some people saying, excuse me, have you seen how far we've come? It's interesting that right along the line, as the stepping stones are put forward, anyone who challenges the stepping stones is then manipulated into continuing the journey. I was speaking in Denmark at the time I was in the Swedish area also, and what they did was had a referendum which voted against Maastricht, against the European Union. They then had another referendum not long afterwards, which then said, yes, we'll go in. And as one national newspaper editor in Denmark.
Right, real quick, what's a referendum, right? If you don't know what it is, it's, what, I looked it up already? It's basically where you come together in a council to question any policies that were made. There you go. Yeah, it says referendum, a general vote by the election on a single political question that has been referred to them for a direct decision, right? I think I pulled up an etymology too. Yeah, etymology says submitting of a question to the votes as a whole. It says where the people have the right to decide on certain laws which have been passed by legislature, right? So you get the point. So they have referendums. They just and they oppose. They have referendums like they have amendments to the Constitution. That's basically how they go about doing things, right? So this is showing the aspect of these devils using, as Isaiah 10:1 explains, which we'll get that out. Probably close it off with that. Using the law, right? Putting forth unrighteous decrees. This is why they take control over what? The government, right? They take control over the government of each country, and you know, seduce many politicians, all right, and health officials of all sorts in all fields of expertise, and they get them on board. And this is how they pass these laws and do these things and get these referendums. Okay, so I'll continue on a little bit more.
Said to me, he was told by one of the big pro-Maastricht people in Denmark, we're just going to go on having referendums until we get the result we want. That's how it works, because we are in the land of the free. So that's the technique, and it's being used to bring in the microchip population. And the big stepping stone to that is the cashless society. Coins and bits.
That's right. That's it, the cashless society. That's a big step to it. So we know that has to happen for the MOT to come out. All right, so last precept here. We'll close it up on here. You brothers got it. You guys can go into it. So I'll read it here in the NLT. It says Isaiah 10:1. What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws?
Right. Simply put, unrighteous decrees. These laws are going to be contrary to the Lord's laws. Okay, because it's that word unrighteous decrees or unjust judges. So the judges are corrupt, and the laws are corrupt.
Right.
Right, and they're going to be fair. Yeah. Go ahead.
It says they deprive the poor of justice and deny the right of the needy among my people.
That's right. And starts with the prophets, okay? Greatly despised, right? So it says deprave the poor of justice, right? That's going into the prophets first and foremost. And then you have the rest of the people, okay, in regards to the nation of Israel. Simply put, let's start there. All right.
Yep.
But the very important thing here for you dummies out there, they deprive the poor. That's the prophets. Be clear with that.
Yeah, that's right. It starts with the prophets.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it starts with the prophets and the rest of the nation of Israel, but they also do it to their own people,
People,
right? And
exactly.
this is why Esau's house is divided, because the ruling class, right, the leadership of the nation of Edom don't give a shit about their own people. Therefore, they don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. So this is being exposed, and now Esau, all right, the house is divided, and so guess what? That's gonna lead to what we've been talking about the whole time is civil unrest, Egyptian versus Egyptian.
That's right. That's right. The scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Khan. Yeah.
100%.
It says they prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. What will you do when I punish you, when I send disaster upon you from a far distant land? Yeah, you guys got it. Whoever wants to
Yeah.
take a stab
No.
at it.
Oh, no. I was gonna say no. Far punished land. We know about the excuse me, the captain of the Medes. Okay, we know about that, and ultimately, that's going into what the Lord's gonna, the Spirit is gonna put on them to fight first and foremost in World War III, but more importantly, the destruction that's coming to the whore.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's
The
right.
destruction that's coming to the whore.
And who's the captain of the Medes?
That's right. That's Russia. All right, and they have a head, right? The little guy with the left hand in his chest. He always keep his left hand in his chest, like he's gonna pull something out. Putin.
Yeah, he's Mason. Yeah, but simply put, right? Yeah, he's a Mason. Simply put, like you said, the distant land is the captain of the Medes, which is Russia. And like you said, this disaster is the sudden disaster, coupled with the collapse and the MOTB is the missiles, World War III. Because these people don't believe this is coming, even though we're out here prophesying day in and day out. They don't believe it's going to come. So that's the pride of their heart.
That's right.
As the king, so is the people.
That's right.
So it says, to whom will you turn for help? Where will your
go ahead. Finish it first, brother.
Okay. Where will your treasures be safe?
Well, first of all, there's no balm for the pain. They won't be able to turn anywhere. But I know one thing: they're going to turn against their leaders. Right?
That's right.
But there's no help.
That's right. Yep. It says, hey, Shaman, you got these last two. As a matter of fact, why don't you read it from your phone or book? That way, it doesn't lag. You can read it. Isaiah 10:4.
Okay,
the leg's a little long.
Isaiah 10:4. Yeah. It is. Okay, Khan. Isaiah 10:4, and it reads, without me, they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this is his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Right? And the door of repentance is closing. Right? This is the final credits of the Lord stretching out his hand. Right? Because once the elect are sealed, right, we're going to see it ramp up. We're going to see it get intensify in speed. Things are getting fast now. Right. Look, we're almost at the end of February, man. The time is speeding up. The Lord's about to shut that gate. Verse 5, O Assyrian, right? Spiritual Assyrian, which is America the Great, Babylon the Great. Right? When we're speaking about America, there's spiritual connotations of America: spiritual Egypt, spiritual Assyria, spiritual Nineveh. Right? O Assyrian, which is America the Great, the rod of mine anger and the staff in their hand is my indignation. Right? The rod, this rod in the hand of these Edomites, these wicked Edomites. Right? The Lord's going to use them to bring forth judgment on 2/3 of our people. We're already seeing the beginning stages of it with these ICE agents, right? Snatching up
That's
Northern
right.
Kingdom children,
That's
5
right.
years old, and they're throwing them in camps, right? That's the rod of the Lord's
That's right.
anger.
Yeah, so brazen. It's so brazen. It's more brazen than
Yeah.
ever. Than ever since I've been.
Con.
Yeah, like it can roll up like that stage of even the shooting. I mean, stage it however you want, but it's brazen. Go ahead, brother. Right?
Brazen. 5-year-old children, man, snatched out of the parents'
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Brazen.
And that's right. And this is all just the beginning. That's the thing that
That's the thing.
you alongside with ourselves and you sincere brothers and sisters that listen, what we're telling you and what we're describing is only the beginning. And, man, if that doesn't scare you straight down to your spine, then you're not in the truth. You're not in the truth. You should be terrified of what's coming down the pipe, but at the same time, not consumed by that terror, because you also have to believe the Lord's with you. You have to believe the Lord's actually, dealing with you.
That's right.
Because the scriptures say that the righteous shall be scarcely saved. So we're going to have fear, but the difference between us and these peons out here, okay, Yahweh of the elect, they're not going to overcome their fear. They're going to succumb to everything that's happening. The hopeful elect are going to overcome everything in the flesh in that time, right to the hour of the hour of temptation, whether it's death that's before them or not. They're going to overcome it.
That's right.
Right.
All right,
verse
so
6.
that's
Want me to
that's it.
continue?
Yeah, Con. No, that's it. That's it.
Con.
Yeah, that's it. You know what? I'll just read it in NLT for you. It says, "You will stumble along as prisoners or lie among the dead. But even then, the Lord's anger will not be satisfied." This is what we're telling you. So he's going to commit all these things that happen, but he's still not satisfied. His fist is still poised, ready to strike. So you see somebody beating somebody down, and you're like, yo, he had enough. He had enough. The guy's like, nah, he's not stopping. He's beating this guy down. That's what the Lord's going to do to America.
Right.
He'd be unrecognizable.
Exactly.
Where was New York?
That's right.
Where was,
his face is bashed in, blood is coming out, and the man's not even breathing anymore. He's doing the ooze.
Yeah.
He's wheezing. The Lord, and the guy's not done. His fist is still poised, ready to strike.
Yeah.
That is the Most High upon America, man.
Yeah.
He's wheezing.
That's right.
He's wheezing, man. Windpipe is busted in.
Wheezing. Con.
Holy. Okay. Verse 5 says, "What sorrow awaits Assyria, the rod of my anger? I will use it as a club to express my anger." Damn. So then imagine the Hulk kicking your ass and then using your body as a club to kick other people's asses. Right? Remember when he came up against Foki? And Foki's like, "You can't do this. Stop." He looked at him, grabbed him by his legs, right? And started flipping him left and right, and looked at him with puny God.
Yeah.
Puny God. That's Esau Edom. That's what the Lord's going to do with you. Take you, bah, 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 bah.
Because he can't.
And then use you as a club against 2/3. Bah, 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 bah.
That's right. Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Hey, beautiful precepts on here. The water, Maya, Maya. Yeah. Huh?
You lagging.
Maya Ka'ala, 144. Ba. Oh yeah, see, that's the precept I wanted to bring out. So that's the spirit. He brought out Mark 3:24. It says, "And if a kingdom is divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand."
That's true.
Verse 25. "And if a house is divided against itself, the house cannot stand." And verse 26. "And if Satan rise up against Satan himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end." That's right. So that's what we're witnessing.
That's right.
All right, beautiful. All right, so with that, we're going to close. Lord willing, this lesson was straightforward and edifying to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Ruach Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught us his word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, starting at 144,000. That's also pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Above all, Kwama Sha'ala and Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect.